Hello students, this is Preeti Damble, your English teacher. Students, today we are going to study English literature from our NCERT book, Chapter 3, Glimpses of the Past. Now the chapter gives a short description of events that took place in our country from 1757 to 1857. It enlists incidents that led to widespread revolts known as the First War of Independence. It also provides a glimpse of how the British East India Company expanded its power in India and exploited Indians, how they robbed landlords and farmers of their land, created situations that led to famines, and pushed patriots to launch widespread massacres. So, here in this chapter, we are beginning with point 1, the martyrs. Now, the scene represents a function that took place in Delhi. Lata Mangeshkar can be seen singing "Ae Mere Watan ke Logon." At her side, Indira Gandhi, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and Lal Bahadur Shastri can also be seen. Second, we have the company's conquest. Now, the year 1757 bears the mark of being an important year in Indian history. The company rule, also known as the Company Raj, refers to the rule of British East India Company over parts of the Indian subcontinent. Now, the East India Company was a private company owned by stockholders and reporting to the administration in London. The company came to India and set up a few factories at different places. However, the company's beginnings on coastal India offered no clues as to what would happen when they stay here for a longer time. Now, slowly and slowly, they began expanding and extending their dominance in India. Now, one of the reasons they were able to do so is that they had superior weapons. Second, they took advantage of the disturbed circumstances which were prevailing among the Indian rulers. Now, there was no peace amongst the Indian princesses. However, they were short sighted, means they considered immediate benefits and ignored the long term consequences. Therefore, they took help from the British merchants to be able to defeat their rivals. Now, the British East India Company took advantage and took over control from the Indian rulers by their policy of divide and rule. Now, of all the short sighted Indian rulers, there was one ruler of Mysore, Tipu Sultan, who understood their policy and fought against them till the last moment. Now, the Indians had varied opinions and reactions to this, which was forwarded by Tipu Sultan. Now, some people were very happy with the Britishers and were grateful too. Why? Because they thought there was peace now and it was an end to war and looting. On the other hand, people saw what was actually happening and they knew even if some of the princesses were cruel, they were at least of their land. They had realized that they were now slaves of the Englishmen. Now, the third event in the book is British rule. Years led to the rise of widespread myths and taboos like untouchability, child marriage, inferiority of women, etc. Now, our own religion leaders taught everyone the idea of untouchability. Untouchability refers to the practice of excluding a minority group by segregating them from the mainstream by social customs. Now, they were not able to come near those who considered themselves superior, not allowed in temples, and were discriminated against and deprived of the basic human rights. The religion leaders even preached that people who cross the seas will no longer belong to their religion. Women were considered the root cause of a lot of problems like poverty and other miseries. This is the reason why teenage girls were forced to marry, thereby leading to child marriage. Okay. Now, the Britishers started looking down upon Indians and initiated brainwashing the rulers against them. How? They said that Indians were not worthy of trust and not capable of honesty. This was a way of making the people slaves and getting control over them. Now, this was not only the thing, the British merchants imposed heavy taxes on the poor farmers in greed of immediate profits. As a result, they had to give up their lands, and if this was not enough, they threatened them to imprison if they did not clear the arrears, that is, balance. They continuously found ways to exploit the people and earn profits. Like, for example, the picture shows the goods which were manufactured in England were being imported to India, and no import duty was levied on them. The England products were sold at high prices, whereas Indian products were taken away at much less prices, increasing poverty and misery of farmers. Such policies of British destroyed the Indian industries. Small businesses and artisans were literally ruined. Now, all this led to what? Famines or extreme scarcity of food, and approximately 15 lakh Indians died due to starvation. Next, fourth point is Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Now, everybody knows he was a well educated man from Bengal and was one who realized that something was wrong with the country. He was of the belief that Indians must not consider themselves inferior, and the second one, that the ancient culture was great and that people were destined for greater achievements. Now, according to him, the first step was to change the society by removing these prevailing superstitions. He considered it was the root cause of all the problems. So he had a talk with his wife where he told her that cows are of different colors but the color of the milk is same, which means that different teachers might have different opinions, but the essence is the same of all religion. He took interest in science and modern knowledge. According to him, knowledge should be practical and scientific. He even published newspapers, but the Britishers stopped out of suspicion in 1823. He was curious to know what made the Britishers so powerful, so he crossed the seas and travelled to England. There, he is known to tell Britishers that we, as a nation, accept their rule. But he added on that they must accept Indians as subjects and not forget their responsibility and duty towards their subjects. Yes, Raja Ram Mohan Roy worked effortlessly to abolish the practice of sati and child marriage. Next, fifth point is oppression. Now, in 1818, what happened? A resolution was passed under which an Indian could be jailed without trial in a court. Now, the British officers drew large salaries. Besides this, they made fortunes in business. By 1829, Britain was exporting British goods worth 7 crore rupees to India, because of which the Britishers grew richer and richer, leaving Indian industries to die. Now, even the British Governor General of India, Lord Bentinck, reported, yes, to England that the bones of cotton weavers are bleaching the plains of India, which means how they have destroyed the traditional cotton weavers in India and brought misery to them. They were forced to starve because of the cotton mills set up by the Britishers, which produced much cheaper cloth with the help of the machines. And this led the traditional Indian handicrafts to extinction. Next, sixth point is dissatisfaction. Now, education, or you can say all the teachings in India, were in Persian and Sanskrit. So in 1835, a British officer named Macaulay suggested a change. The change was to translate everything in English so that education is delivered in their language. Now, what was the reason behind this change? Actually, they wanted to produce clerks to get their unimportant clerical tasks and administrative duties like answering the phone, typing documents, filing, and so on to be done. So, in the process of doing so, they manufactured a whole new generation of masterminds who wanted to uplift their brothers by educating them. They wanted to strengthen their financial prospects that could lead to a good, promising future. But they needed to convey this message to where? To the British Parliament. The Britishers, on the other hand, did not care about the needs of the Indians. So by this time, the Indians were more worried as their kings were already treated as puppets. They had lost their own jobs and lands, and they were the Britishers were forcing some of them to change their religion. So now the Indians were tired of talking and they wanted something to do so as to bring a change. So by 1856, the Britishers had occupied almost all the parts of India. And then seventh point is the sparks. Now, what was happening? The increasing taxes which were there levied on the peasants, it continued to pressurize them and worsen their financial situation. The Santals in Bengal, they had become disheartened and they were hopeless after they lost their land to the Britishers under the new land rule. So in 1855, they launched a rebellion and massacred what? Europeans and all those who supported them. Now the people working under the East India Company were highly dissatisfied too. Yes, now the fact that they gave British Englishmen good pay, mansions and other help which they gave Indians only inadequate pay and slow promotions further agitated Indians as well. So they felt bad that the Britishers urged them to move out of their land to cross the sea and work for them, which was even against their own religion. So they were motivated to drive the Britishers out of India. So there was an Indian soldier who was serving under the British or the European orders named Mangal Pandey. He even attacked his colleague of his regiment, but was later executed. Around thousands of other sepoys like Mangal Pandey took violent action against the British, but were only robbed of their uniform in turn to make the sepoys feel humiliated. Now, some of the Englishmen even began to understand how Indians thought, how their mind worked, and their customs. So they told Brahmin soldiers, that the bullet they were supposed to bite is covered with grease made of cow and pig fat. Okay. Next, chapatis were being sent to each home in every village, conveying that their services would be required to fight the Englishmen. People agreed. Lotus flowers were circulated among the Indian soldiers. The nation stood against them with the support of the masses in the form of shelter and other help to the patriots. Eighth point, revolt of 1857. Now the urge to free the nation of the Britishers continued to grow. The city of Meerut also experienced violent outbreak. The sepoys marched and moved to Delhi to support their emperors like Bahadur Shah. The revolt continued to spread and grow. They even got the support of the landlords that had also lost their land due to the new land rules. People were angry and they wanted to fight the Britishers. Now the next point is ninth, the fight for freedom. Now many farmer rulers were beaten too because the Englishmen had taken control of their kingdoms. Leaders like Maulvi Ahmedullah of Faridabad, he motivated people to free the country of all the Englishmen. People of Bareilly, Kanpur and Allahabad rose forward too. Former rulers like Begum Hazrat Mahal of Lucknow joined them because her kingdom had been taken away by the British, thereby strengthening their power. So the entire North India came together in large numbers to fight a pitched battle against the Britishers. In the fight of this, Azimullah Khan expressed his thoughts to Tatya Top that they should have Peshwa Nana Sahib as the leader in this war of independence against the English. So in this revolt against the British, 8-year-old Kanwar Singh of Bihar was hit by a bullet in the wrist, which he dedicated to Mother Ganga as an offering. Okay students, thank you.